What's going on, everybody? Let's talk about conspiracies. Let's talk about conspiracy theorists. Let's talk about conspiracy theories. First off, may God, Yahweh, the only God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, bless this message and help every single one of us understand what we need to in the following days, weeks, months, years, so we can cut out a righteous path to heaven and serve Him. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, amen. And Yahweh, please guide this message so everybody listening gets what the message is. So, long time ago, in 3000 BC, the Watchers, the Watcher class fallen angels. Now, if you want to call them Anunnaki, if you want to call them ancient aliens, whatever you want to call them is on you. But the Watcher class angels that the Book of Enoch speaks of were judged in 3000 BC for falling down here on purpose to mate with our women, rape them really, and they begot giants or Nephilim. Okay? Now, if you know about a liger, I think it's a male lion and a female tiger. It might be vice versa. When you mix those two, and it's only the one, like the male lion and the female tiger, I think. If you do it the other way around, it don't work. But if you do it the right way, it produces a liger that has no growth inhabitant gene or something it's called. Growth inhabitant or something. But anyways, that gene it like kicks on and off, right? Well, we have ours that it told me to quit growing at 6 foot when I was about, 17, 18 years old. So all humans have this gene. Well, a liger doesn't, as long as you get the male lion and the female tiger. You can check to make sure if it's vice versa, but I'm pretty sure it's the male lion and the female tiger. So this liger named Samson is like a 900-pound liger, and it never stops growing. It's just bigger, stronger, faster. And it consumes I think he was saying 25 pounds or something in each setting of meat, 25 pounds of meat. It might be more than that, but I think it was like 25 pounds of meat per meal. So you could kind of see how the land devoured itself, like the Bible spoke about. And dark's a light. So you could see how the land would devour itself, right? And just so everyone is aware, and this ain't about the purple revolution. This is my niece's bedroom, guys. See, she even has the purple blanket to match. It's not about the purple revolution that we're going through in America right now, which is a bunch of BS, but I digress. So when you find this stuff out, you realize very quickly that the God of the Old Testament, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, didn't flood the earth and just kill everything because he was a genocidal, jealous maniac that wanted to kill. He actually done it out of love, out of a love that is so strong for his creation that he didn't want it corrupted like it was. Okay? The technology back then was far more than what we have today. And my opinion is they have suppressed it, because if you look into sound and vibrations and frequencies and what it can do to heal things, It's amazing. You can pretty much heal any disease through a frequency, I'm pretty sure. The right frequency. Now, I'm no doctor, and this isn't medical advice, but I'm no dumbass, and I'm not going to bullshit you either. Okay? Excuse my language. I do apologize for cussing. I'm working on cutting that out of my life, so there's that. So, it talks about in the Bible how these watcher class angels were judged by God for an even 70 generations. And when you look in Psalms, the book of Psalms, it says a generation is 70 years and 80 in strength, by strength. So, let's do a little math here, folks. What is 70 generations times 70 years? From 3000 BC. That's right, 4,900 years. What year would that bring us to? Right around the 1900s. Right around the 1900s, folks. That's right. What started happening in the 1900s, guys? I know in 1908 there was this meteor type thing, right? And I think it was in like Russia or Yugoslavia or whatever it's called. I think, and if I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong about this, but I think everyone thought it was Tesla or some dumb experiment that he done. But the story goes that nobody even went and looked at or for this thing for months, right? Or maybe years even, I can't remember. But there was nothing there when they did go, supposedly. And my opinion, and it seems pretty clear to me, that the reason the Catholic Church started taking books out of the Bible when they did, around the 1400s, 1500 mark, the reason Nicholas Copernicus came out, and he didn't even want to come out, like he did not want to publish this junk, because I think he didn't want to do it because he knew it was BS. He didn't want to lie because he knew the intent of these evil people. So he's the one that created the heliocentric model with the globe going around the sun, right? Everything revolving around the sun. It's Helios, the old Greek god, the little g. It's sun worship is all it is. And you know, they started doing all this right around the 1500s, and when Nicholas Copernicus died, they published his papers. Started putting what they call science. It's not real science. Like I said, you can kill just about any disease through frequencies, right? And they knew that back when. Sumerians and all them. So Nicholas Copernicus, once he died, they published his papers, right? Started putting it in school textbooks. Started putting it everywhere, calling it mainstream science. And a lot of people disagreed with it. I mean, I'm pretty sure they was hanging people that was spreading this nonsense. Which I don't blame them, frankly. Because it is very evil what they done. I'm not advocating for any violence here. I'm just saying I see through the BS now, and I see through it all, and I understand. So, and it made the Bible make perfect sense. Like, I was always kind of scared of questioning God because how I was raised. Like, I was under the impression that if I questioned God, I would go to hell pretty much. Like, I wasn't supposed to question God. I wasn't supposed to ask any questions about God being real or not. So that obviously disenfranchises any person from believing, because you have, you know, thoughts of doubt, and doubt is the kryptonite to faith. So I went through school loving NASA, and always kind of thought God was real, but I never did question it. But I believed in NASA. I believed in going to space. I believed in all that stuff. I believed in UFOs. What I didn't realize was the government put the whole UFO thing out there, or the powers that be, rather, put that whole UFO nonsense out there to get us digging under a rock that was just going to fall back on top of us, okay, so to speak. They do that because they wanted to misdirect us away from the Earth not being a globe, you see. They wanted us to think they was hiding the UFO stuff for their own gain in technology and stuff. But really, they just misdirected us for a long time. That's because the Nazis and Operation Paperclip after World War II came over to America, the smartest scientists, and built NASA, okay? That's how it happened. And when you get into what the Nazis were looking into, it was all about cult-like stuff. And who knows what history really is. I'll put it that way. I'm not a Holocaust denier by any means, but there shouldn't be this incentive to crush people who ask questions, okay? And that's what's happening. They're censoring everything, and it's ridiculous. But, so I love NASA. I digressed. I love NASA. I believed in it all, and I got to the point to where I didn't even really think about God. I didn't think about it. I was partying all the time, doing whatever I wanted, didn't think about jack squat. And I came to this point in my life to where I was completely on rock bottom. That rock that I kept digging under, that they was wanting me to dig under, finally fell on me and crushed me about as low as you can go. And I found Rob Skiba and others, and I learned that the earth is not what we have been told. And when you start thinking about it, it is insane. It is completely insane what they have taught us to believe. Now, I don't know what the heck we live on. I just know 100% it's not a globe, okay? So, that thing crashed down, like I said, like a meteor, which I don't think exists either. My humble opinion. I think it's all nonsense. Nothing about what they taught us is true. Nothing. 0%. Zero. Okay? Just like the CIA said, once the American public believes in 100% lies, we'll know our job's done. That's a quote. Not exactly quoted, but I'm paraphrasing. So these Watcher class angels, they taught us how to write with ink. They taught us how to move metal with fire, make weapons of war. They taught women how to pretty up their eyes so they could seduce men. The hair thing, the reason they cover up their hair, like Muslims and stuff, is to hide their hair from the Watcher class angels. That's what it's about. Because the lust that drew the Watcher class angels into the women was the hair. I'm even a hair guy. Always have been. Never knew why, but now it makes sense to me. Anyway, you get into all this stuff and it starts, sounding crazy. Sure, it sounds crazy. But what makes more sense? Logically, what makes more sense? And when you get right down to it, the Bible is a true account of history, 100%. And they have successfully, from 1500, brainwashed an entire populace into their way of thinking. And my opinion is they done it because they knew that judgment was going to be over. They knew that the Watcher class angels was going to be released. That's why they started at 1500, you see. And then 400 years later, lo and behold, you get something that flies out of the sky. And then what happens after 1908? And remember who taught us how to make weapons of war and the art of war was all taught by the fallen angels, guys. This is why they removed the books from the Bible. Right after 1908, and for 5,000 years before that, it's horse and buggy, and that's it. Well, no cars, wasn't no nothing like it, no technology, right? Right? Out of nowhere, after this thing comes out of the sky, crashes into the ground, looks like a meteor, a comet or whatever, burns up in the atmosphere, they say. We have World War I, right? Then the rise of Hitler and all of that. And then that's where it's very important. After the rise of Hitler, we was all told he killed himself, but there's evidence to show that he actually made it out to Argentina, and it was a female skull that they found and showed everybody and said it was Hitler. So we brought all the Nazis over here, Operation Paperclip, and then they go into Operation Dominic and Operation Fishbowl and Operation High Jump. And high jump, you know, you jump over the ice wall, which is Antarctica. It's a 360 circle that goes around, maybe to hold the oceans in. I don't know. But there's definitely photographic evidence to prove that it's like a, 100-foot ice wall or bigger. So they had Operation High Jump where they took big boats and went up. And Admiral Byrd, I think it was Richard Byrd, maybe, but Admiral Byrd, the youngest admiral ever in the Navy, was famous for flying through the North Pole hole, or whatever. Said he flew to inner Earth and all of this stuff. I think that later came out in his diaries, but Admiral Byrd and his team went down and supposedly got in a fight with stuff, and they got their ass kicked. Big time. Like they was losing people, losing planes, they was flying into invisible barriers supposedly, and they got in this big fight with unknown craft and beings down there, right? Because they went like beyond 1,200 miles past the coastline. And then they start launching nukes after that, after Operation Dominic, High Jump, and Fishbowl. And Dominic means of the Lord, by the way. So, in Operation Dominic, you got High Jump and Fishbowl, right? And tripped me out, that door popped open, I thought. Anyway, Operation Dominic means of the Lord, and you have Fishbowl of the Lord. So they start launching nukes into the sky. I mean, hundreds a day. Or not hundreds a day, but hundreds a month, right? And it looks like it's hitting something up there. The firmament that the Russians have now declassified, and the CIA documents are even declassified. You can go look at it. The firmament, which is the thing over the earth supposedly. I don't know if it's a hard structure dome, but I know that we can't get out of this place. As far as, I don't know 100%, but from everything I've seen, we can't leave this place, right? And what does a human do as soon as we figure out there's a fence or a barrier? We try to get out of it. But that's still all this enclosed world stuff. Like, what if there's more land out there, folks? What if there's more land? And, they started doing this in 1500, and they want us to believe we went to the moon in 69. And we all know it was faked. It's a bunch of BS. We didn't go to the moon. But even if, let's just for the sake of argument say we did. So we're going to go up high enough finally, for the first time in 500 years, we've been believing this thing. And we're finally just getting up high enough to actually see if what we have been believing was true. Kudos to Math Powerland. Or Matthew Boylan. But we finally get up high enough to see if what we had been subscribed to and believing and teaching for 500 years was true. So when they get there, I mean, folks, do you think they would actually tell us? Come on. Come on. It's the Nazis in NASA. No, hell no, they're not going to tell us. And it's like all Masons, it's been to space. So, anyways, and just think of the outer space of your yard. It would be like the space up against your fence line, right? It wouldn't be outside of the fence. It would be the outer spaces of your yard. Like, anyhow, I digress. So, like I said, for 5,000 years it was all horse and buggy, no technology, and then all of a sudden it explodes. Planes, trains, automobiles, a man on the moon, probes to outer space, all this nonsense, right? And it's just crazy, because when you think about it, the Watcher class angels, judgment was over. They have been released. It's the only thing that makes sense. It's the only thing that makes sense when you think about the cult of Baal that they worship. And I'm just telling you, folks, these people are sick. They did child sacrifices back then and all that stuff. And that's Baal worship. And they probably are in communications with these entities. They probably do spill blood into the earth to make entities happy. Are there still giants on this earth, maybe being hidden from us? And then once we get too smart, they just let them loose on us? Who knows? Who knows? I know that's scary, but when you have the full armor of God, if God's for you, who can stand against you? I firmly believe that. Praise Yahweh. Praise Yahweh. So folks, just with all this uncertainty near the election, just remember that we don't need to fight each other. And that seems like exactly what they're wanting to do. And Trump even might be unwittingly, unknowingly helping them, right? He might think he's doing the right thing, but really, it's just dividing us. Everything's getting censored. Nothing's been done. And sure, I know about the Q. And I followed it very close for over 4 years now, since it came out. But I don't trust anybody but Christ. And after a certain amount of time, you got to start wondering, guys, like, our country's literally falling here. We just need to do something. We need to do something about the power that they have and call them on it as one, right? In my opinion. So if you guys like this, please like, share, subscribe. Get my subscriptions up so I can go start doing live streams. That's what I'd like to do. But I hope all this information has been of value. I really do. I wanted to scream it from rooftops when I figured it out, but when you start thinking of underground bases and stuff, just think about that big old drill. It's not going around a globe, and there has been no curvature proven ever. You can go look for yourself. There's no curvature on this place we live on. So once again, guys, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. I would highly appreciate it. And until next time, guys, see you later.